Hi, welcome back. I'm excited to start the next session with Ajay, CEO of Paymate, and Amit Chauhan, with ICICI Bank, the commercial payment solution providers for us, working with Paymate. Amit, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, and thank you for inviting and giving this opportunity to talk about the payment ecosystem which is there, B2B.
Great.
So thank you, Ajay, and thank you, uh, Lightbox team, for inviting.
Great. Thanks, Amit. So Ajay, it's been a long journey. I think we got started back in 2005. We started thinking and we invested in 2006, and we started thinking about how payments were going to change. I know we talked about mobile phones, we talked about the consumer segment, and over time, we've kind of evolved as a business, and we've understood that the consumer side has its own unique challenges and opportunities, but B2B is an often neglected area. You have a view on why people don't focus on it? What's kept people away from it for so long, and what brought us into it?
First of all, thanks for having me on the show. Hey, Amit. Um, yeah, so I think B2B for the longest time has always been categorized as intense uh, from an involvement and engagement standpoint, long sales cycles. So all of that contributing to this sort of image of we rather go down the B2C path and experiment with a lot of opportunities rather than pursue B2B as an opportunity. And for us, although we started from the consumer side, uh, I think when we latched on to some of the B2B opportunities in travel, we were kind of lucky because that just presented itself to us. We had time to sort of make ourselves comfortable with the whole B2B ecosystem. And from there on, when we sensed the opportunity, we sort of doubled down on this and then never looked back from there. So that's sort of the way we look at it. And in fact, we're excited that people are not too keen to move into B2B because
Leaves
that
it
sort
open.
of leaves it open for us and
Yeah.
gives us a competitive advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Amit, I guess from a bank's perspective, you guys have obviously been dealing with all kinds of customers, whether it's consumers or enterprises. And I guess you've looked a little bit at and you've focused on the card side of that equation. And when you think about it, why cards? Why does that make sense as a way for businesses to be thinking about the world, and what advantage does it give them?
So if you look at B2B market today, and if we look at the data which is there, so the global market size is around $127 trillion. And if you talk about Asia Pacific alone, that is almost $78 trillion, which is there. But the space is huge. And if you talk about card payments, so as you have rightly mentioned that, the entire, the developments and all the engagements were happening on the consumer side of the business. And as far as the card is concerned, so there were two, three inherent, problems that were there that were to be addressed to for B2B payments to take the shape what it is taking today. So one was that there has to be a acceptance ecosystem in the supply chain. So today, if you look at what we have done with Paymate, is that we have been able to, facilitate the ecosystem wherein even if the end supplier is not having, say, acceptance ecosystem, then too we are able to use the card for sending the money into their accounts, pushing the money into their accounts. So this is one. So as the limitation was there on the acceptance side, so what we did is that we took a collaborative approach, and we used fintechs as a master merchant. We pulled the money from the card and we are pushing the money into our vendor's account. So this is one thing that we have done. The second was that the cost which was there. So there was acceptance cost which was there. So there are two set of customers. If we talk about large corporates who are cash rich, so these customers, they don't tend to take limits on the card. And second is your limit-based customers where there is a cash flow issue, and they are looking for limits, and then card becomes one of the options, and they are happy to pay some convenience fee for using the limit in the card. But if you talk about the larger chunk that was missing, that if any company who wants to make vendor payment, and if it's a cash rich, even if you give them say limits on a very lower rate, they will not be taking it because that is the additional cost for them. So now what we have done is that we have now facilitated those kinds of payment on a user-funded arrangement. What we are doing is that we are giving, let's say, the daily payment for a company is, let's say, 50 crores. And so what we are doing today is that we are assigning, let's say, 50 crores ka limit in the card. During the day, they are using this limit for sending the money to our respective vendors. And then at the end of the day, they are funding the card account because they are cash rich and they don't want to use the limit as such. So we have been able to enable, even payments for all those A-rated big companies, and we have successfully done it. While we enter into this arrangement, if you talk about the industry, if you talk about within the bank and outside ecosystem, that conviction was not there. But time has proven it. And prior to COVID, there was some resistance, and there was there was cultural mind blocks which were there, and people were satisfied with what they are having. But after, so the consumer behavior has changed a lot after the COVID has come in, and they have tested how what the technology can bring it to them. Now today they are having one platform for all kinds of payment they want to initiate, whether it's a normal vendor payment, whether it's if they want to avail bill discounting facilities, whether they want to make it utility payments, so which is strategic, non-strategic, or whether it's a tax payment that they want to.
Amit,
So what?
yeah,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but you hit a great point in saying that COVID really accelerated things. And I think we made the statement earlier this morning that necessity is the mother of innovation. And in this case, I think clearly we found that with our inabilities to be able to do the things the way we used to, we had to be more open to new ideas. And I guess if I could just take a second, Ajay, and come back to you here on this, is that in building this out, I think early on you realize that in the payment world, you can't do things alone. And Amit, you highlighted that as well. It's not a business that functions with just a bank or just a technology provider. It requires bringing an ecosystem together. And as Paymate has gone down the path of building on the back of a card rail, clearly a card partner was important. And we found that with Visa. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how that came about and what that's brought in, and even how that brought ICICI into the picture for us also.
Yeah, so fortunately for us from early on, all our B2B payments were centered around card payments, especially in the travel sector. You had thousands of travel agents using the commercial cards to make payments to someone like an Indigo or an AirAsia. And those volumes went through the roof. And we sort of focused on that. And we started working with the banks to issue cards to these travel agents.
Maybe why were they using cards? Because alternate methods were just not available, or what was the
Yeah, so prior to that, they would just send wire into the airline's account, and then the airline would have to reconcile that, and then upload the inventory back into the travel agent's account. So all of that typically would, you have a lag of 2 to 4 days, depending on when you sent the payment. And then, we deployed our platform. Initially, it was a wire, but we could pick up the wire instantly and then go and upload the inventory of the particular travel agent. And then we
So that involved integration with the
with the airline, and then your onboarding of travel agents. So all of that to make it seamless and real time. Then we realized, especially in the budget airline industry, there's always a delta because travel agents are paying out of their pocket and then selling tickets down the line, and then realizing their payments if they're selling to businesses even later on. So the working capital pressure on them forced us to develop a program which then worked with the banks who issued cards to travel agents. And that sort of became the formula for enabling all these payments on card rails for budget airlines. So that was sort of the genesis of the card movement on our platform. And thereafter, down the line, when Visa saw the sort of volumes build out on our platform, they approached us for a commercial partnership. So then came in the network. And the network obviously works very closely with the issuers like ICICI. And then we started all sort of collaborating and working together to enable these programs, starting in the travel space and then moving outside of travel, which we've successfully now deployed across many, many verticals.
Well, actually, and that's a great point because, Amit, I guess when you look at a bank from the outside, or when any industry, you look at the large players, and I think as an early stage investor in tech businesses, or you look at new opportunities, you always have to worry that the big guys are going to do it on their own, and they can figure this out and they can make it work. I guess you had to make a decision at some point. Should we build it? Is there value in partnering? Could you talk a little bit about what you saw as what Paymate brought to the table, and why that got you to move in the direction of saying partnering is perhaps the right answer for us here, rather than necessarily trying to do it on our own?
So it's a very nice question that you have asked. See, we have started working before the COVID was there, but COVID again acted as a catalyst for us. So what happened is that if you look at the commercial card ecosystem in India and say overall, so almost the industry was skewed towards travel. So almost 50 to 60% of the volume was happening on travel and T&E. So that was the primary business that all the banks were into. And because of this, the B2B developments and B2B new enablements were not coming in. So what happened that in April, there was a substantial dip in the volumes, and the business was like 10% of what we used to do pre-COVID. And then we came together and we as a team we started thinking of creating rails for all B2B payments, whether it's a tax payments, with the help of fintech. And there it played a great role. So what with experience I can tell you that we saw that it actually made a difference. From number 3 player in the market, we were able to scale to become market leaders in a year's time, and that too with greater margin. And so it's like a Lord of Rings game which is there. So if you are protecting your castle sitting at a place, what you can do is that you can shoot an arrow, you can put a hot oil, and the competition would be there. But the best strategy, what I think, is that you'll have to keep moving the castle. And if you want to keep moving this castle, you have to partner with players like Paymate, and you have to keep looking at new avenues. And as far as the bank is concerned, the primary job of the bank is they are the lenders, correct? And lending is the primary responsibility. So if you expect the nimbleness and the expertise that any technology company like Paymate can have, and the customization that they can bring in no time, it is very difficult to move things within the bank ecosystem because of inherent bulkiness which is there inside.
Right.
So this helped us, and and we have seen that this partnership is, and now entire industry is basically today is looking at such kind of partnership and trying to move ahead.
Great. Actually, now taking that forward, acquiring customers is the next challenge. And we brought in place a partnership with Visa, brought to the table a bank that's able to work closely with us. The bank has lots of business customers, and I'm sure that's a channel we use to acquire. But in general, one of the reasons why people, and we are among them as investors, often get worried about B2B is the sales cycle, like you mentioned. Can you talk a little bit about how that's been working for you? I mean, Amit mentioned that COVID accelerated things, but nonetheless, there's a cycle you go through. There's a convincing that takes place. How does that play out?
So I think in the early days we were, we were doing it ourselves, our own feet on street, which we still are doing to a certain extent. But the partnerships with the banks, at the end of the day, if you look at the enterprise customers, it's the banks who have the relationship with them. They have the proximity to them. And today, by coming together, and in fact, we have our sales and biz dev teams aligned with the bank's teams across the country, and we are pitching together. So that itself, in a way, brings down the sales cycles considerably because there is a degree of familiarity with the banks and the customers, and that sort of allows us to engage quickly at the highest levels with with enterprises, the treasury teams especially. So they're so hard to get pre-COVID, even post-COVID, they're always difficult to find time and pitch to. So So I think the partnership between the banks and the fintechs, and especially in this case, Paymate and ICICI Bank, we have a pretty decent formula now to be able to go and acquire customers and deploy our platform as quickly as possible.
So actually, on that, I mean, credit card penetration in general is low, right? And if you think about it, I mean, I assume that you've had a desire and interest in trying to grow that over time in various ways. Have you found that this solution has had a unique ability to kind of penetrate and grow faster than things you've seen in the past?
Yeah. So see, what we have seen is that, see, if you look at the volumes that was happening pre-COVID, and if you compare those volumes today, so we are doing, say, almost 3 times what we used to do earlier. And this is ice of the tip, say, the tip of the iceberg basically, and the kind of opportunity which is there. So basically, the scale is in our hands now, and we are taking a conscious call, because what so this relationship, how this has helped us, is that we first approached companies which were not with us, and they were enemy to us. And so what we did, that we approached them, we have given this solution to these companies, and now because that we have made inroads into these companies, now we are cross-selling a lot of other products to these set of customers, and same is the case with our partner as well. So once you make inroads into it, then you have got lot of other monetization opportunities, whether it's account receivable, whether it's a bill discounting, whether any such kind of enablement which is there. So this is how basically, we have been able to turn around the things.
So Ajay, lending is part of the equation, but the solution extends beyond that in what Paymate's doing, right? It's really helping them manage their finances and helping them ensure that they're making payments more effectively. And so we've done that with GST payments, for example, right? Can we just talk a little bit about why that's so complicated? GST was the savior of the country's tax regime. It was going to make things a lot easier and better, but it's complicated and it's hard for businesses to deal with it. How have we helped them handle that?
Yeah, so first, our approach is, once you bring a customer onto your platform, then how can we extend payments across every facet for that particular customer so that they can manage all the payments on one single platform using a commercial card. If you look at GST, typically they have to make payments in 29 states if you're cross country, and then you have to log into every state and do a different upload to manage all of that. And imagine having to do all that, and now we've collapsed all of that into a single card and making a single click payment and pushing all the payments across to all the 29 states. So that's the level of sort of sophistication we brought to the table. And imagine the value add to the enterprises. And then when we look at the broader picture, we're saying, can we also now replicate this down to the smaller businesses?
Right.
Either in our ecosystem or in partnership with the banks. For example, with ICICI Bank, we're rolling out across their million-plus base of small businesses. And these businesses have been issued commercial cards. And they are sort of underutilized. So how do we sort of expand that further? So there's immense opportunities, cross-selling between enterprise, small businesses, within the enterprise, whether it's invoice financing, discounting. It's amazing. We can capture the same payment flows in different ways, as a payment transaction, as a discounted invoice, as a collection of that credit provided. So the opportunity is immense even within the existing cash flows.
Well, one of the interesting things in any lending business to think about or worry about are NPAs, the non-performing assets, right? And in this ecosystem, because the way it's structured and the way the cards work, you minimize that. It's negligible, right, in essence?
Yeah, so I think so the banks are even more comfortable that they are channel partners, they have complete visibility on transactions, they can even participate in the workflow of these payments which flow out of the platform. So mitigating risk, I think that's really crucial. And as we further expand our services, I think it's beneficial to all the stakeholders in the value chain, and the banks themselves who are providing credit or non-banks. And that's the beauty of the platform. It allows the various stakeholders to participate on a platform level and be able to engage on a transaction level. Right. So mitigating risk thereby.
Risk. Always about risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amit, we've talked earlier today about UPI, and we expect to see $1 trillion of value transacted on UPI this year, over 40 billion transactions. I think we did about 4 billion in October alone. And this is not insulated or not subject to just the consumer side of the world. It's going to impact the business side of the world as well. Do you have a thought on how that might play out in relation to cards, or how that might play out in relation to businesses, and what that evolves to be here?
So rightly mentioned the kind of this new enablement that has come, and obviously this is the world's first API-driven interoperable real-time money transfer facility that has been given by Indian ecosystem. And obviously, so today, see, mostly predominantly today, UPI is catering to consumer side of the business. If you and that is enabled, if you look at the numbers which are there, so today we are having, say, around 600 million smartphones in the country, and every quarter 25 million kind of phones are getting added. If you look at internet user, there are more than, say, 700 million users which are there. If you talk about the mobile connections, it is more than 1.1 billion. So today, if you look at the enablement that is done, so UPI, obviously, it has helped all the wallet companies, it has helped banks, but predominantly today, there is a cap on the transaction which is there. So although, although this is this real-time payment has taken a shape, and it is now addressing the SME needs also, and it has brought in financial inclusion at a tier 2, tier 3 cities. But as far as the B2B payments are concerned, here the game is a bit different, because you have to do consultative selling to B2B customers. Just providing a payment tool which is fast, which is reliable, is not going to serve the purpose. Now, yes, so UPI backed by BNPL is obviously going to be a good game changer for SME segment. But as far as the B2B is concerned, and as the large market is concerned, because here the selling is consultative, if the requirements is has to be customizable. So it's not only the rate, how fast you can push the payment. It's about a lot of other factors which are involved. And the company today, they needs the entire visibility of their supply chain. They want their healthy supply chain. So UPI is just a tool enabling the fast payment. But as far as the B2B is concerned, and obviously, today, if you look at networks are having solutions around it. Today, real-time payments are possible. Even account-to-account payments are possible. From cards also, there's a real-time cross-border payments are getting enabled. So there is a fairly, the industry and the networks are now are getting ready for the challenge which is going to come in future. Great. But I don't foresee that this is going to challenge us in any way. Obviously, wallet companies and even banks, they are leveraging on the consumer side of it. But B2B game is a bit different game, and I think so UPI will be there. It will be used as a tool, but it is not going to impact overall business, which bank and other players are having.
I assume you agree.
Absolutely.
And if anything, I would imagine that having penetrated into these customers, if there are going to be changes in systems that are used, I assume you'll adapt and progress.
Yeah, I think, although we've managed to crunch the sales cycles down a bit, but it's still fairly engaging. It takes time. It takes about 2 to 3 months before you deploy your platform and go live.
And that requires integrations with
integration with the ERP platforms and what have you. So that itself, in a sense, is a moat for us. And once deployed, we can then look at other solutions, and within the gamut, if we have to change tracks a bit or calibrate a bit, I think we're still in good shape.
So earlier today, Jaideep talked about the fact that you have to have a long horizon. You've had a long horizon in this business. And it's come to fruition, as Amit was saying as well, a lot of it really in the last 6 to 9 months. And we've seen such great growth and trajectory in the business and how that's evolved. How's that been to manage and that growth, and how do you prepare yourself for what's coming next and ensure that you can continue to take advantage?
Yeah, I think the bottom line is we've been doing the same things we were doing in the past. So there's no difference. I
Just
think
the market finally caught up.
market finally is caught up, the partnerships are in place, the pipeline is strong. It's about, again, putting your head down and working with the partners, working with the customers, and continue to develop your product and platform and, providing and creating more value for the supply chain ecosystems we work in.
Great. Listen, thank you very much. Amit, thank you for taking the time to join us today. And Ajay, as always,
thank you.
great seeing you.
My
Thanks,
pleasure.
Amit.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.